Hey there, it's Crafty Jenna. If you know, you know. I've got a paper bag spread out on my desk. I have busted the bottom of it. I tore the handles off because I don't need them. And it's that time again to make another journal for 2023. This one will be for November. So, first thing I want to do is show off the fabric I have chosen. This, actually, let me open this so you can see the full pattern. It's a fabric quarter. I think I got it at Joann. This beautiful paper to go on the outside. And then at a thrift store, I found this fabric for $1. So excited. Honestly, I think I paid less than that for it. I think I went in and got it on a day when stuff was marked on sale. And I think this is going to go, this is really thick. This will go on the inside. Do I want it on the outside? Oh, it has this, I think this was a curtain. Maybe? Oh, I like it better on this side. Let's see. That's what I get for not actually looking at this stuff before. This one has a lot of texture. I think this is going to be on the outside and this will be on the inside. And I'll do it on this side up. Because I like all the lighter pieces. Oh, that's exciting. Yay! So, because this is so light, I'm going to need to prime one side of this. I mean, first I need to cut it down. So I'm getting way ahead of myself. Stop skipping ahead, Jen. Stop skipping ahead. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how much I need to cut off of this to make my journal. I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 copy paper, folded in half because that's going to be the biggest size sheet in my journal. And I want to get it kind of close to the edge. I want to leave a little bit of a margin. I've got about, let's do 1/2 inch. That's typically what I do. 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to cut this off here because I don't want this little ridge. So I want it to come in 1/2 inch. Oh, that's darn near perfect. Sweet. So then I will do that. And then okay. So I want it to be there. And then my nail polish is coming off all over here because I don't have a top coat. Okay, so then I gotta figure out how much to cut off. So I just like to fold it over. And I will just mark this. All the way up to there. And that's how much I will cut off of that side. So let's go ahead and cut it down. So this will be my journal. This will go in here. Perfect. Now I just need to prime the one side, which I will just use some white acrylic paint and spread it all over and let it dry. I'll be back. Alright, this has dried, and what I want to do is cut the fabric to fit. And how I'm going to do that is by laying the paper bag that I cut down over it and then just trimming. I want it to stick out a little over the edges. And then move this out the way. This has dried, by the way. I'm not about to put it on there all wet. And then I want my stripes to go up and down. And then I am going to trim this edge off, because I don't think I'll be able to utilize it here. I don't think I'll be able to replicate it on the other end, but that doesn't mean I can't use it. So that is awesome. So we'll save that, because it's We Junk Journal and we save everything. So I got my front cover, my inside cover. I just need to apply them. To do that, I'm going to use Yes Paste, and I like to spread it with a silicone face mask brush that I found at the Dollar Tree. And so what I'll do is, I'm going to do this off camera, take my Yes Paste, spread it all around, put the fabric on there. On this side will be this fabric. And then I will flip it over and do the other side, and then I'll let it dry and we'll be back. Alright, now while the journal cover dries, I want to figure out my pages. I have a paper bag that I ripped the end off of so that when it gets sewn into the signature, it will have a pocket on both sides. This is a piece of packing paper that I used as a backdrop for when I was making the August journal. There was the September journal. When I was working on the September journal, because that was the leaf-themed journal, I laid the burlap leaf down here and sprayed mica stain all over it, and it made a really cool impression. And then this was a stencil negative, and that I plan on sewing into a signature. I'm going to rip this more, I think. It doesn't have to be even on both sides. That's going to be a page element. I have 2 doilies. These are paper doilies, and I want them to be sewn in, I believe. I have some tea-dyed paper. I have 3 sheets of tea-dyed paper. And then I have this sheet of copy paper that I cleaned my jelly plate off onto. I think I'm going to do something else to the other side. Then I have scrapbook papers. This I want to fold up based on a treasure books tutorial I saw. And so that I will figure out shortly, but it will be like a specialty page. And these I'm going to cut down. That one, this, and this. So let's figure this out. These can all go. For this, so what she did, she folded the paper like so. And then she folded it again like this. I don't have a bone folder, so I'm using what I have. That is not quite straight. And then folded it back this way on both sides. And then what this does, you sew it into the journal here and glue these pieces down. Do I want to glue it down yet? Yeah, why not? Glue this down and this side here. And then what that does is it gives you pages, and we have a little house-shaped part, and you have a pocket here, and you have a pocket here. Now what I could have done is, and what I may still do, is color inside here so it's not so white. But I already glued these down, so I'm kind of stuck with it. But that is an option too. I will probably take a blending brush inside of there, and I could cut a little notch so that you know it's a pocket. But I just thought that, I saw it in one of her videos and thought it would be really, really cool to add into a journal. And this one this paper just seemed right for it. So I've got a pocket here. I could also put a pocket here, or use this as a pocket. I could glue it down so that it's just one pocket. And then I have a pocket up here. Cool, so that's one of the page elements. Need to cut these down. All right, so these will all be folded in half this way. But I want to do something to the other side. I could fold it over and make it a side tuck. So, what to do to the other sides? I think it's time for some jelly printing. All right, I have a few colors I've picked out. I have my jelly plate set out. This is from the Halloween journal, leftovers on the jelly plate. There's some green and some purple, which I'm not really that upset about. So what I'm going to do, I have some paper off to the side that you can't see. It is for cleaning my brayer on. I can't get it all in one, I can't get it all in frame, unfortunately. So I think to pick up this, I will use a little bit of toffee color and a little bit of khaki color, and maybe a tiny bit of Italian sage. Let's see what happens when I braid this. I'm going to put it on the back of this. And since I have that left over, I'm just going to put it on this scrap paper. Okay. Okay. All right. And then this part I can fold over to make a side tuck. And I'm just going to bray what's left on my brayer over this. I'll take one of these coffee dyed paper, or tea dyed papers, and just pick up that. That adds a bit of interest to that page. Alright, on this one, I'm going to put down a little orange paint. Let's shift this way a bit. Maybe I can get these in frame together. Oh look, I can get them in frame together. I'm going to take this burnt sienna color and squirt it down here. And then my brayer to bray it out. And then I have this stamp I made, bricks. And I'm going to stamp it. Not perfect, but it'll work. And then on this side, I want to take a dark brown, specifically this bark brown, just a tiny bit. And then I want to take this bird stamp I made, and I want to stamp it here. Not the best. You know what? Let's clean that up. I'm going to try that again. He's still not very dark. I need to let that dry, and then I'll add another layer of paint. Alright, now I'm going to take this artichoke heart green. This is dried. And I'm going to put some of it on this side. And then clean off my brayer. And then on this side, I think I'll do that khaki color. And then I want to lift it on the back of this. I love it. I have this Delta Ceramcoat Gleams in metallic copper. I want to use these. Came from this stencil and stamp kit, THMM 167. And I think I want to put a few, I'm going to lift some of this copper color with a few of these stamps. Alright, I'll let that dry. Alright, now that I've let that dry, I'm going to come in with some bark brown and cover the whole thing. I've got a little bit of a shimmer on there. Alright, vague impressions of leaves in the metallic. Not bad, not bad. That leaves me with two more partial sheets. I think I'm just going to flip them over and take this paint that's left on here. Then I'll take some of this Italian sage and I'm going to put it on my paper over here off camera, spray through it, and then I don't really like those. Alright, for this guy, I have an idea. I'm going to take this English Ivy Green, and I'm going to do something I haven't done since I was a kid, and that is take some paint, just like that, and then I'm going to fold this over. It's going to come out, of course. And then my brayer is clean, correct? Yes. I'm going to squish it this way. Then I'm going to open it up. Oh no, that is not what I wanted. Okay. So, that did not turn out as planned at all. But I think I like it better now. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. All right, now let's see if I can do it better over here. So, not that color. Let's try some King's Gold. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to turn this so that I don't get green paint on it. And then I'm gonna take a paintbrush. All right, now that I've made a giant mess, and I'm just going to, oh no, I gotta do it on that, don't I? Something like that. That's what I was going for with the green. But now that I've made an absolute mess out of everything, I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to clean up and then we'll be back to try to figure out what the heck else I'm doing. Alright, my pages have dried and I decided that I don't like these two for this journal. I'm not going to get rid of these. These aren't getting trashed by any means. I just don't think they fit for this journal. This one, nah, I'm not feeling it for this. I'll save these for other projects. However, that means I'm down 2 sheets. So what I'm going to do is take the offcuts, well, what would be the offcuts for those 2 pages and turn those into something else. Now this will make them bigger, I think. No, they're about the same. Yeah, a little bit of a size difference, but that's okay. They're just, I'm not feeling it. This one, I'll keep. I like that. I'm just trying to go for a more elegant look. Back of this one, I like, now that I've covered it in green. And then the back of this one, I think I'll keep that as well. And just, of course, fold this over. So those are fine. I like this one a lot. So that means I've got some decorating to do. Still. And I'm gonna use the packaging for my gel plate. I'm not pulling the gel plate back out again, but I do want to utilize, I do want to dye these, you know? They're just a little too stark for what I'm going for. So I'm gonna take some frayed burlap. Basically what I'm going to do now is take some Distress Oxide inks in various colors, smear it around on here, add some water, and run these through. I'm going to do one color at a time and dry them in between. We'll start with this one. Actually, I might just leave it like that. Let me dry this and see how I like it. Alright, this is what it looks like dried. And I still have some on here. Now that it's dry, I'm just going to pick up some more in a few places. I don't want to waste any of that Distress Oxide. Alright, now I think I'm going to dry this and do it again. And I think I really like the way the frayed burlap is coming out, so I think I'll continue with that on here. Okay, I'm gonna dry that. Here we go, this is dried again, and I think I want a little bit more frayed burlap over here. I love the different layers of color you can see. So a little bit more frayed burlap. Some more water. I could just sit here and do this all day. Just deepen this color. I love it so much. All right, I'm gonna dry this again. There it is, dry. I'm gonna do that one more time. I really like some of the spots I got. So I'm going to take this and just do like that. Add a little water to each one. Kind of swirl it around so that I don't get just that solid square. And then I'm just going to dip a few places. There. That is beautiful. And I'm going to dry this. And I think I'm going to do the other ones off camera just because it is such a lengthy process and I don't want to bore you. But I'm going to repeat this process with the other sheets just to give them a little something. And then we'll be back. All right. Everything is dyed, painted, what have you. All the elements for this. We've got this I made earlier. That's a page element. This doily will be sewn in. This doily will be sewn into one of the signatures. I have this. It's a piece of like really textured paper. It was white and I sprayed it with a few different Distress Oxide sprays. I really like it. It might end up getting cut down and made into a partial page. It might end up just being collage fodder. I'm not sure yet. This piece, I'm going to tear down a bit. I think I'm going to leave this side as it is. I'll go ahead and tear this down while I'm thinking about it. I might tear it down more here, potentially. So that's more specialty pages. This page I did nothing to. It was coffee dyed and I liked it that way. This one I just dipped in a little bit of vintage photo and water on one side just to give it a little bit more oomph. This page is the back of this one that I just picked up. I made this, I cleaned off my jelly plate onto this paper. And on the back I used a mixture of vintage photo and peeled paint Distress Oxide inks, and then I took my walnut stain and used the nozzle to make splatters and some lines to kind of represent like dried grasses was what I was going for. This is the paper bag. I used vintage photo and rusty hinge on it, and then a little bit of walnut stain on this side as well. And I cut some half circle notches so that you would know that they're pockets once it's all folded in. I haven't decided yet if I want to cut this piece off. I probably will though. Let me see. So that's another special page element. This paper was one I cleaned. I used this paper to clean off the jelly plate. I like little bits of purple. And there is the back. This one I used frayed burlap, forest moss, and walnut stain. Really like the way that turned out. It's on the back of this paper. So that's a partial page. This was the one I showed you with the frayed burlap several times on the back of that. It is a very time-consuming process because you want to dry between each application of color. This one you saw me make. I'm going to fold this here. I think I should fold it. Too late. This one. And then this one you saw me make as well. So I'm going to, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 7 each. we'll do, for each signature, we'll do one each of these, one each of these, and then for these little pages, I have 5. And then, let's see, 4, 5. So each will get a doily. Each will get a fun pocket. Okay, actually this one has a lot of brown. Let's switch those. And then let's get some more color. Bowls. How about that? I'm going to figure these. So I know what I'm putting in each signature. I'm going to figure out placement and folding, and I'll be back. All right, I have my signatures figured out. This little doily, I decided I wanted to be the front and back of this signature. I'm actually going to glue it down completely to this page. All right, I've got my signatures all figured out. There is one more thing I want to do to them before officially sewing them into the journal. And that is distress the edges a little bit. I have some walnut stain, I have some forest moss, and I'm just going to do like I did in a previous journal. I don't remember which one at the moment. And just try to grunge up some of the edges by running this along it. I did glue the this doily to this page. And then I'll take some peeled paint and use the nozzle. I'll do the same with the walnut stain. All right, my cover has been sewn around. I figured out where the center is by folding it in half and sticking this in. I don't think I did it straight. Oh well, too late now. And then this is a template I've used for almost every single journal I've made in this series. And I did 5 holes in, I did a total of 10 holes, but, so I poked my holes. I've shown this process in each video so far. So, I poked my holes in my cover. Now I will poke my holes into the signatures. All right, now that my holes are poked, I'm going to sew in the signatures. I'm using, this is friendship thread. I found a giant container of 120 little skeins of friendship thread. I think I paid like 50 cents for this on clearance. And yeah, there's a ton of them. I picked out the most neutral color I could find, which was this color. And I'm going to pull out 3 times the height of my spine, and a little extra just because. And then I'm going to sew it in. I think I'm going to start at the bottom and go and alternate up and then back down. Like I always do, I will use a bit of washi tape. And then here at the end, I had way more than I needed. Here at the end, I will make sure they are all tight. Looks good. And then I'm going to trim this. And then I will tie using a square knot. And then I'll cross it over again just for good measure. There, and then trim this. There we go. That is one signature sewn in. I'm going to sew in the other one off camera, and then we'll be back to check it out. Here it is. I have not decorated the cover yet. That will come probably in the next video. My signatures are sewn in. Let's give a flip through, shall we? So here we have the inside cover. I decided to go with this for the first signature. I already have a plan on how to decorate it. Like, we're moving right along. This page was a little ripped, so I sewed over it with some crazy stitching. Thought it was kind of cool. I could always cover it with a page tab or something. Here's that paper bag pocket. I absolutely love all the grunge on the edges, especially like here. There's a lot of white. I just realized that got sewn in upside down. I'm going with it. I am not undoing this. It's just gonna have to be like that. Maybe I can come in and do some more and make it a little more. But yeah, I love the grungy edges. I love these. That's the last page of the second signature. I only opted to put the one doily in. I didn't do both doilies. It was just too big. And they're pretty flimsy, so I didn't want it to just fall apart as I turned the pages. I love the way the grunge came out on that. At least this didn't get sewn in upside down, because then I really would have had to pull it apart. So again, these are the pockets. A few pockets. I could glue this down and make it not a flip, but I like it as a flip. Might have to add more of that color in this journal. This, I'm not incredibly in love with this dark green all over. I might have to do something about that. There we have it. This might be the fewest amount of pages. So yeah, there was 5 full pages here, so then 10, and 6 in the second one. And I ended up making my margins a little bigger on this side, but that allows for space for things to stick out on the edges here. There we have it. The November journal has been made. It just needs to get decorated, needs to get a little love. Got to figure out what I want to do on the cover. So I can't decide if I want to cover up these threads or leave them as they are. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to get working in this journal. And I hope you have a great day.